We are live. Hi, everybody. This is Andrea Paquette, president and co-founder of the Stigma-Free Society. I just want to welcome you here today to this amazing interview where I have the honor of interviewing Kasondra Cohen. And she is the founder and CEO of the Face of Today Foundation. How are you doing, Kasondra?
Excellent. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, we are actually very pleased to have you here. We've been doing a lot of partnership with your organization, working with Tessa and Megan, and we thought, why not bring the founder and CEO on the show? And it's so awesome to have you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Instead of me kind of encapsulating Face of Today, I was wondering if you can just give us like some points about what your organization is about, the goals, the aims, and we can also, after that, then get into your personal story. Does that sound okay?
Yeah, absolutely. So I started Face of Today Foundation 11 years ago, and we started actually by hosting an event in Gastown and Nuba. And our goal was to engage our generation in philanthropy. And what does that look like? And kind of building that bridge between families and their children to come together to give back to the community. And as the world has evolved and mental health has become more prevalent in our society, and I've personally struggled with it along with lots of people I know, and I'm sure you do as well. I decided to kind of shift gears from hosting annual events every single year and raising money to give to organizations to bringing awareness surrounding mental health itself. And so last year, we actually opened the Cohen Center for Social Enterprise, the Face of Today Resource Center in the heart of Gastown. And it was very symbolic considering 10 years before that, we had our first event at Nuba. So it became a full circle. And for me, it's really about providing opportunity to everyone who needs it, to give them access, because in my opinion, it doesn't matter who you are or where you come from. We all deserve equal opportunities to strive for success.
Amazing. And you have a really moving personal story that I've often heard that you share this. And I was wondering if you could share with me a little bit when you're younger. And I know that you have expressed that you have experienced some mental health challenges in your past, and it ignited and inspired you to do the work that you do. But I was wondering, could we just go back a little bit and could you share about that?
Absolutely. So my philanthropic journey actually started when I was 16. I grew up with dyslexia. And so when I was in school, dyslexia wasn't a thing. It was, you were stupid, you were different, you're slow. And I was lucky that my parents supported me and got me the education that I needed to be able to strive for success. Mm-hmm. And so when I was in high school, I decided to start an endowment fund for kids who wouldn't be able to afford to be in a special program at Collingwood School for kids with learning differences. And so I actually stood up at my mom's event and everybody supported me, and we raised about $20,000 in a short period of time. And over the past 10 years, we actually haven't even distributed it. We've just been accumulating the funds. And so we're looking in future to be able to do something more powerful, to be able to give youth that need that extra leg up, that need that extra support, a hand.
Yeah.
And so I was lucky, growing up with my mom having faced the world, and now they're going on 31 years. It's, it was in my blood to give back. And I feel very lucky and just, I guess, blessed to be surrounded by such giving people that it just always motivated me to do more.
Yeah.
And in 2014, my father came to visit me from Chicago. And it was just the most incredible experience that I had ever shared with him. And from the time he got off the airplane in Chicago and I picked him up at the airport, he was a different person. And the treasured moments and times that we shared together while he was in Vancouver, whether that was, rekindling with my mom, seeing her, me witnessing them getting along, my grandmother, myself, like everything in life happens for a reason. And that relationship that I built with my dad over those 4 days showed me purpose and was very fortuitous to everything in my life that has been in existence now. And I got to learn who he was in a different light than I had ever seen, I guess. And from the time that he arrived in Vancouver to the time that he left, it was when he left Vancouver, he actually passed away on the airplane. And I wished for every little girl to have that magical experience with their father the way that I did, because that changed my whole perspective. And I say that losing my dad was the silver lining to be able to be the philanthropist that I always dreamed of.
Wow. I'm always getting tears. That is absolutely so touching. Thank you for sharing so authentically. I know sometimes it can be really hard for us to do that, and you do that beautifully. So thank you for that story. Yeah, it is true. Sometimes like we go through our troubles and our downfalls and our struggles, and then we kind of later on realize why we went through that. It brings some light, and I've even experienced that in my life before too. So I totally understand where you're coming from. At the Stigma-Free Society, we recently met with an organization that aids youth with tools and educators with learning disabilities. So this is like really timing and interesting.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, just like 2 weeks ago. And I was just curious. They were talking about the stigma. And I was wondering, can you speak to that a little bit? Like, how did you feel growing up when you were experiencing a learning disability? Did you feel different? Like, how was that?
I think I was very lucky because I grew up with my mom in Vancouver, and she was very supportive. And in that sense that she was like, I'll do whatever it takes to get my daughter the education that she needs. Being blessed to have the resources to go to a private school that had a program like the Key program, I have to say, was different than a lot of other schools where the stigma might have been a lot higher. I did go to Fraser Academy for 2 years. And so I feel like the stigma was very present in the sense that people that didn't understand those with learning disabilities. But if you had it, it was relatable.
Right.
And I think that most people consider others with a learning disability that if you're dyslexic, you read things backwards. But that doesn't mean it at all. There are thousands different forms of dyslexia. And so for me, I don't enjoy reading because I have to read something over and over again in order to fully comprehend what I'm understanding.
Yeah.
And so I find that challenging. But I find that over the years now, the stigma has kind of gone away because people realize that, there's so many different forms, like I mentioned. And whether you have troubles putting a key in a door, which my mom actually said to me when I got diagnosed, she's like, oh, I have troubles putting a key in a door. And, maybe I have dyslexia, right? And so it was something that was never diagnosed. And I'm glad that I was able to have access to getting diagnosed at a young age, because I think that made the difference. And my parents instilled confidence in me to be ahead of it, to be able to, speak up and always confront any challenges that came my way.
Yeah.
There were kids that would say, oh, you're stupid, or you don't get this, and that was very obviously disheartening, but just knowing that I'm a good person and I struggle and I had to, kind of make my way.
Yeah. And it inspired you to create Face of Today, which is this amazing organization helping so many young people. I'm not going to get too much into Face of Today, as we had Tessa, the executive director, on just a few weeks ago. But I did want to get some of your thoughts, Kasondra, about what was your inspiration? What was the genesis? What was inside of you that was like, you know what, I need to put this into the world? Like, really, what did you feel?
I think I love giving back, like whether it just be my time or money or just hanging out with friends, whatever it is, I love to give that to a weakness, I'd almost say, because sometimes people can take advantage of your vulnerability because you just like to give, you know? And I think for me, I was always that person. I wore my heart on my sleeve.
Yeah.
And I was consistently getting hurt by others because I was an easy target because I would do anything for anyone. And I was inspired to be able to just utilize the resources that I was blessed to have and say, you know, let's do something and let's create something where other people can have opportunity to engage in things that they might not otherwise have the means. And
Exactly.
so whether that be through raising money and giving it to other organizations that could benefit from it, or building a resource center where, you know, we can, as time goes on, help more and more kids and engage them through different means of, you know, tutoring or music or whatever kind of makes them happy. And that inspires me and that motivates me to drive, to dig deeper and to be better and better and think ahead of the curve. What's next? What could we create within ourselves, within the center, to motivate other people? You know, a few years ago, we did a campaign called I Blank Because, and the concept behind it was that everybody does something to cope with their mental health, but what is it? You know, and I think that's really what it's about. Is there's a lot of organizations and they're all incredible, but working together to create that message and to get that impact out there, and like to be a force to for you having me, you know, here today and for us to talk about it, that hopefully we can inspire somebody else to tell their story and to not be afraid.
Exactly. And I think people need to know that I see us as entrepreneurial spirits, like wanting to create new things and like create resources and organizations and just help people. And I feel that in my heart too. And do you have a message for people out there who just feel like they don't have the means, right? And say they want to create? Like, is it even possible?
I think anything is possible. You know, right before my dad passed away, we were in Stanley Park in the lagoon and we were watching this man and he was feeding the ducks. And my dad turned to me and he said, Kasondra, it's the little things in life that make people the happiest. And that is true, because really it doesn't take money to bring happiness to oneself. It's about finding what you can do to make yourself happy. If you're not happy with yourself, it's hard to be happy in a relationship or in a friendship or anything else. And so I can just say that I just encourage everybody to find a friend or to reach out and to know that you're not alone. And that's one of our slogans at Face of Today, is that you are not alone, because you're not. And chances are, you know, we feel depressed. We wake up in the morning and you feel ugly and you say, oh, how do I want to get out of bed today? But the truth is you're going to be okay. And there's somebody else, you know, maybe even somebody that you know that's having the exact same feeling. And so I think it's just about being honest, you know, and not being afraid of other people judging you, because that's just so, I feel, I just had a daughter 6 months ago. And I feel like being vulnerable and being real and, you know, crying and going with the emotions and being okay that life isn't perfect is just part of the pathway.
Yeah, exactly. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
I didn't know that. That's amazing. Yay. Cool. And I really love what you're saying about the judgment of other people, right? I think Stigma-Free Society, like, we really encourage people, that elimination of stigma. But what I've learned personally is that people are going to judge me anyway, right? So why should I focus on that? Because I can't change that. And really, that doesn't matter. And I feel what we really need to focus on is what we can change.
I agree. You have to be the change that you want to see in the world.
Love.
And I think I have to say too, I think it also stems from your family, you know, and if you don't, you know, we're born into families, but you can also choose and make your own family. And I think it's also about finding that path. And if I didn't have, I grew up with, you know, with a mom and a grandma, and if I didn't have that strong women, power, I guess, I think I wouldn't have had as much confidence as I do. But I think it's about believing in yourself and just knowing that, you can be anything and don't let other people tell you otherwise.
Love it. You're so strong. This is awesome. Okay.
I try. Not every day.
Yeah, I know. We all have our moments, right? Like I do feel like a strong individual having, been diagnosed with bipolar at 25. I was, oh gosh, I nearly lost my life. Like it was really bad and I've gotten through. But even when, you're a strong person and you've been through so much, like we have our down days too. And I think a lot of people seem to forget that. And I even tend to beat myself up a little bit of, hey, today's not such a great day. And usually I'm like, go, goal oriented. I'm about like success, but sometimes, it just hurts or I'm just down and that's okay.
You know what? I have to say, I love when people show their vulnerability.
Yeah, me too.
Because, I watched Oprah when she did the World 2020 Vision Tour that she did. And Lady Gaga got on the interview and she expressed how every day is different. And, some days you just wake up and you're grateful to be alive. And other days you are, at the gym and you're pushing it through and you're killing it. But every day is a new day, which is an adventure. And I totally resonate with that because you see celebrities or, somebody that you admire and you're like, oh, I bet they never feel this way. But the truth is that everybody does. Everybody has insecurities. Everybody has flaws. Nobody is perfect. Even when on the exterior, we're like, how could they probably have a perfect life?
Yeah, exactly. I love it for sure. And I think it's about empowerment of each other and lifting up each other as well, too, when people are feeling in those good places and just ensuring that, we're feeding off each other and supporting each other. And I love what you talked about family. And I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about, what your mother does, your third generation philanthropist. Like, tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I mean, my mom's been a philanthropist now for over 31 years. And, she started Face the World Foundation in 91. And I think, they've given away, over $20 million within the downtown east side Vancouver port. And that's pretty incredible as far as impact goes. There's not many, organizations that are grassroots Vancouver that can say that they've had the amount of impact that she has. And for me, I look at her and I'm like, you created this. You are the brains behind it. And, it's not easy to have something for 30 years, right? And so that's always an inspiration to me. And now it's cool because we get to work together and obviously building the Face of Today Resource Center, but I did call it the Cohen Center for Social Enterprise, and it's going to be generational. And I think she allows me to be me as well and supports me in my journey, which I'm very grateful for. And it's very often that, other organizations that we work with will say, oh my God, your mother faced the world. She helped me. They gave me their first grant. And that, that makes me proud because that's exciting. And knowing that now, probably 10 plus years later, they're still around.
Exactly.
Being the seed funder is why she created it, because she wants to be that organization that, just gives a little bit and then it grows and it grows and it grows and grows. And now the amount of organizations that she's helped is astronomical.
Yes, definitely, because when I moved from Victoria on the Vancouver Island to Vancouver to expand our Stigma-Free Zone school program in Vancouver, that I started to reach out to Vancouver funders because that's what I needed to do. And it was a whole new landscape. And it actually was very intimidating for me. It's like a big city. It was quite different. I had some good supports in place, but I did apply to Face the World Foundation. And as a seed funder, yes, they funded us. And here we are, we've been running 10 years now. And we've been able to expand with the help of your mother's organization. And I didn't know you at all until we met today. But I want you to know, that her organization has done a lot for us, actually.
And that's why she created it, right? So that's amazing. She would be proud to hear that.
Yeah, awesome. All right. I feel like we had a great conversation today,
Me as
and
well.
yeah, it's so great to meet you.
Me too.
And where are you now?
I'm in Soyuz, BC.
Yeah, that's awesome. And when are you back in Vancouver?
Middle of September.
Okay, awesome. We'll have to touch base then because I really,
Definitely.
as restrictions lift a little bit, I'd also love to see Face
The
of
center.
Today. Yeah, the center. So that would be awesome. And let's
Yeah.
keep partnering on our initiatives, promoting each
Definitely.
other. And so, Kasondra, if you have one thing that you could say to young people out there who are suffering with mental health issues, who feel different, who are stigmatized, what would your message be?
Just to be yourself and to be okay with it.
Yeah.
And not let anybody pass judgment or hinder your path, because you will prevail, and there's bullies out there, but in the end, be strong.
Yeah, and they don't matter.
They don't.
All right. Thank you, Kasondra. Thank you, everybody. Yeah, thank you. And thanks, everyone, for tuning in. And we're going to end this broadcast. Comment below. Contact me if you have any questions. And thank you again.
Thank you. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, bye.
Bye.